Is this new Insta360 Go Ultra a fantastic camera for content creators? I think it is. Is it a great action camera? Maybe not as much. Hey everyone, my name is Frank, and here on the channel we look at how we can use technology to learn and teach more effectively and be more productive. And today we're going to take a look at the Insta360 Go Ultra camera, which I think is a really good fit for content creators. So why do I think this camera is good for content creators? The main reason is that it's a small camera with 4K video, and I can separate the camera from the base, which means that I can put this camera into all sorts of tight spots. I could use this because it has a magnet on the back to put, for example, on a magnetic whiteboard in a classroom. I can use it to go against a metal post if I have a metal post. It even comes with a couple of magnetic accessories, such as this clip here, which will allow me to clip the camera onto a brim of a hat if I wanted to. I could put it onto some other device, clip it onto a backpack and such. It comes with a lanyard, so a magnetic lanyard. I can put the camera onto the magnetic lanyard for both horizontal and vertical video. I can put the lanyard underneath my shirt. So if I wear the lanyard and put it underneath my shirt here, what will happen is you can actually clip the camera onto the front. So I'll just clip that onto the front, and you can see then I get this perspective as I'm walking around. These are all great features for content creators because what I can do is have a small, discreet little camera that allows me to populate or to put it into many different places and get some nice B-roll, some secondary shots. Something that I need to work on in my own videos. I tend to have a little bit more here in the studio type shots. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to look at this camera to start expanding the capabilities of where I can shoot. The other thing that's quite nice is that it does have this screen on the back that flips up, so I can put it into a selfie mode if I like. All of these things bode very well for content creators. When I have the camera separated from the base, I can actually monitor what's happening on the camera from the base. That's great if I'm shooting solo. So if I go somewhere where I put the camera mounted, I can make sure that I'm in the shot. I can make sure that that is working for me. And the other thing that I really like about this camera is that from a creative workflow, it does have an SD card in here, which means that if I have a couple of micro SD cards, I can shoot video, take out the one card and put it into my editing suite, put in a fresh card, and then use that while maybe editing is being done or video is being transferred off of the other SD card. So you can have multiple SD cards in there. Where it really falls down though is as an action camera. So I do want to put that caution out there. As an action camera, it has some limitations. The first thing is the base itself is not waterproof. So this is not waterproof. This camera is waterproof, but I noticed that when I was looking on the website, you actually need a different lens for underwater, and that is, it's not an expensive lens, but as the time of this video, it still hasn't been released for me to be able to get one, but it's just a hassle. I have to put on a different lens. That's not a huge deal. I don't do a lot of underwater content creation. So for me, as a utility camera, as a secondary camera, or as a B-roll camera as content creation, I think this is a great little camera. It also has the ability to, because of the high quality video, to be my main content camera. I'm right now using a DSLR camera, sort of a 4K DSLR camera. I could replace it with this and get probably the same level of quality of video, so that becomes very useful as well, a little more flexible. Now, some of the things I don't like, I mentioned that it's not really, in my opinion, a great action camera because of some limitations in terms of the way that it handles video, the underwater aspect, the fact the base isn't waterproof, some of those limitations. And I think the biggest thing that I would sort of caution that kind of annoys me, I'm going to deal with it, but it annoys me, is that even though I have the magnetic mount, and I can do a lot with the magnetic mount, the actual case itself, or the base itself, doesn't have a standard tripod mount, which means that I'm going to have to find a different mount to get for the bottom of this camera if I want to put it on a tripod to do selfie stuff, or if I want to use any type of stabilization where I don't have a magnetic surface to put it onto, or where I maybe don't have the ability to put it on a flat surface. Like, well, it just won't go on a tripod like this. It won't even go on some other action camera mounts like the GoPro mounts. It just won't work. You have to get an accessory to make that work. I think that would have been something that in the bundle that they're selling, I think that would have been a good inclusion, something that has the tripod mount adapter on there if they insist on going with this strange, never seen it before mount. But other than that, as a content creation camera, I actually think this is really, really good. This is a feature that you don't see, the ability to separate the camera from the base and have a monitoring system. That is very useful for content creation. I could even use this, for example, if I have an overhead camera. I can just take this, and right now I have an overhead arm here. I would have to have a magnetic overhead arm. Mine right now has a plastic mount, so that's not going to work. And then the other thing is, what I might do is I have this safety lanyard to make sure that I don't lose my camera. I would probably take that off just so that if I am going upside down, I don't have something hanging in front of it. But this would be a great feature where I could mount it magnetically up here and I could take an overhead shot. Need metal up here though. So one of the things that I might do in order to deal with that limitation is I might look at seeing if I can get some metallic tape for some different places in the studio. That's a workaround that I shouldn't have to do. I should really have a tripod mount. I won't go on about that. I guess I have. But the idea is that this is I'm very pleased with the camera, despite those few criticisms, because I think the functionality of this camera for content creation, for vlogging, for B-roll filming, for taking it with me so I can do more outdoor videos, anything that might not be heavily action-oriented, I think this is going to be a great camera. Now, all of that said, I should point out that it may be a good action camera for the type of sports or outdoor activities you do. For example, I would definitely consider this as a hiking camera. So if I was doing a lot of hiking, I do like the idea of maybe mounting this onto my backpack and then having that as a way of walking and hiking at the same time. Or again, I could just use the lanyard and that would make a really nice hiking setup as well. I could protect this by, just making sure that I don't lose the camera by wrapping that in. So there's, I just might not take this, well, definitely wouldn't take it underwater at this point in time, and I wouldn't take this probably on anything that was a really high speed, or say skiing. I'm not so sure this would be a great ski camera or those types of activities. That being said, in all fairness, I'm not testing it on those things, but I have seen some footage of the camera in those situations that I didn't like as much. Content creation, thumbs up. Action camera, jury's still a little out on that for me. So I would absolutely recommend this camera to anybody who's starting content creation, maybe starting a YouTube channel, or if you have an existing channel or content creation workflow that you want that remote monitoring, I think it's also great for that. I'm really glad to have this camera. Tell me what you think down in the comments. Is this the sort of camera that would meet your needs? It's also a great family camera because you can mount it on a hat with the magnetic clip or on your shirt, and then when you're, playing with your children or walking your dog or playing with your cats, you're going to get that first-person perspective. That's kind of cool as well. And for all those reasons, I do make this a recommended camera, one that I do like quite a lot. If you're interested in how we can use technology to learn and teach and be more productive, you can comment and subscribe on this channel. You can also visit me at our new Skool Community, something I've just started, so I'll make sure I put a link down below. I'm hoping to build a community of like-minded folks that like to talk about how we can do things like use AI in education, use cameras in education, use all of these different technologies in order to make us more effective in teaching and learning. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.